The episode begins with Rudius reflecting on his past life, where he lived as a recluse, avoiding social interactions and wasting opportunities. He remembers the mistakes he made and the pain of isolation that defined his previous existence. He gets a glimpse of his past, where he recalls trying to save a high school student and getting hit by a truck in the process. As the scene transitions, Rudius is shown practicing earth magic, carefully creating little figures as part of his training. Despite this setback, he is resolute in his desire to improve. He pushes himself to expand his magic capacity, which has already grown significantly. Later, Rudius is with his teacher, Roxy, who teaches him about the history of magic. She explains that magic originally came from a special species that communicated with spirits to control the wind and earth. Over time, humans imitated this magic during their wars with demons. Rudius listens carefully. While listening, Roxy also reveals she is a demon, which surprises Rudius. He learns her small stature is part of her demon heritage. Roxy shares a serious story about a demon race called the Supered. She explains that they were feared for their violent actions during a historic war. She warns Rudius to avoid anyone with emerald green hair and a red gemstone on their forehead, as they're considered dangerous. Rudius takes her advice to heart and promises to stay cautious. While doing so, he starts playfully flirting with Roxy, recalling the dating guides he studied in his previous life. He reflects on how these techniques might not go to waste after all, even in this new world. Time passes, and we see Rudius making strides in his training. Under Roxy's guidance, he's now able to cast intermediate attack spells. Meanwhile, his father, Paul, trains him in swordsmanship. Paul demonstrates strong steps and slashes, but Rudius struggles to replicate them. Although he's still young, he's determined to improve through consistent practice. On Rudius' 5th birthday, his family celebrates with gifts and warm wishes. His father gives him a sword, his mother a book, and Roxy presents a magical stone. After the celebration, Roxy decides it's time for his graduation exam. She takes him outside the village. Rudius feels nervous but gathers courage with Roxy's encouragement. Rudius, as he steps outside the village, an act that symbolizes confronting his fears. In his past life, Rudius feared the outside world due to the bullying and humiliation he suffered from classmates, which left a deep emotional scar. As he steps outside now, he feels a mix of nervousness and unease, but also a sense of determination, encouraged by Roxy's steady guidance. Roxy demonstrates a powerful Water Saint ranked spell. The spell creates a massive storm, showcasing her control and skill. Rudius watches closely and then attempts the spell himself. His spell creates a larger and more controlled effect, showcasing the extraordinary progress he has made under her guidance. To his delight, he succeeds and earns Roxy's praise. She officially declares him a Water Saint magician. Although proud of his progress, Rudius feels a tinge of sadness knowing this marks the end of Roxy's teaching. Roxy announces her plans to leave the village and continue her travels to enhance her magic skills. Rudius receives an amulet from Roxy as a farewell gift, which he promises to treasure. After Roxy leaves, Rudy starts venturing outside more. One day, he notices a group of kids bullying a boy with greenish hair. Rudy steps in to defend him, using his magic to scare off the bullies. The boy, named Sylph, is shy but thankful. Rudy helps clean up Sylph's clothes and reassures him that they're now friends. Over time, Rudy teaches Sylph basic magic. Sylph struggles at first but gradually improves, even learning to cast spells without chanting. Rudy's guidance helps Sylph gain confidence. One afternoon, while Rudius and Sylph were playing, they got caught in the rain. Soaked and shivering, they decided to return to Rudius's home to dry off. Thinking Sylph was a boy, Rudius tried to help change Sylph's wet clothes. When Rudius removed Sylph's shirt, he realized Sylph was actually a girl. Embarrassed and upset, Sylph ran off, leaving Rudius feeling confused and guilty about his actions. After talking with his father, Paul, Rudius decided to apologize sincerely. He approached Sylph the next day and explained he hadn't meant to embarrass her, admitting he had mistaken her for a boy. Sylph forgave him, and they made up, restoring their friendship. This moment taught Rudius the importance of understanding and respecting others' boundaries, strengthening their bond as friend. As time went on, Rudy discovered a significant change within the Grey Rat family. His mother, Zenith, is pregnant, and Rudy will soon have siblings. The family is excited, but the atmosphere shifts when Lilia, the maid, reveals she is also pregnant, and the father is Paul. This shocking revelation creates tension in the household. Lilia offers to leave after giving birth to avoid conflict, but Rudius quickly realizes the risks of a long journey for both her and the baby. Showing maturity beyond his years, Rudius mediates the situation. He convinces Zenith to forgive Lilia, reminding everyone that both babies are his siblings and deserve a safe environment. Ultimately, Lilia is welcome to stay. Lilia expresses gratitude toward Rudius for his role in resolving the family's conflict. She promises to repay him by serving the family and raising her child to be loyal to him. This newfound bond between Rudius and Lilia strengthens the family dynamic. Rudius, however, feels restless. His progress in magic and swordsmanship has slowed, and he begins contemplating his future. Inspired by a letter from his former teacher Roxy, who has achieved great magical feats, Rudius decides he wants to attend Renoa Magic University. Paul, however, has reservations about the financial burden and Rudius's readiness. Sylph, overhearing this, is heartbroken at the thought of Rudius leaving her behind. Determined to make his dream a reality without burdening his family, Rudius proposes finding a job to earn money for both his tuition and Sylph's. Paul agrees to help. Rudius is training with Paul in the yard, practicing swordsmanship. During their session, Ghislaine arrives, introduced as the person who will escort Rudius to his new job and training. Her strong and confident presence makes an immediate impression. Zenith and Lilia come outside to bid Rudius farewell. Zenith hugs him warmly, wishing him well, while Lilia thanks him for his support and promises to care for his siblings. Rudius feels the weight of the moment but is unaware of the real reason for his departure: Paul's decision to separate him from Sylph. Paul, avoiding the topic, challenges Rudius to one final sparring match. Using a special move, Paul overwhelms Rudius, causing him to faint. When Rudius wakes, Ghislaine is ready to escort him, leaving Rudius no chance to question Paul's motives or say a proper goodbye to Sylph. She hands him a letter from his father, Paul, explaining that Rudius has been hired as a tutor for Eris, the daughter of the Boreas family in Roa. The job will last 5 years, during which Rudius is not allowed to return home or contact his family. Paul hopes this experience will help Rudius grow. Ghislaine, who will also teach Rudius swordsmanship, escorts him to the Boreas estate. Upon arrival, Rudius meets Philip, Eris's father and Paul's cousin. Philip warns Rudius that Eris is a strong-willed, difficult child who has scared off all her previous tutors. When Rudius meets Eris, she immediately rejects him, furious that her teacher is younger than her. She punches Rudius, calling him impudent. Despite her aggression, Rudius resolves to stay and find a way to make Eris listen to him. Rudius devises a plan to gain Eris's trust by faking a kidnapping. Both he and Eris are tied up in a dark room, and Rudius pretends to stay calm and resourceful, showing Eris how knowledge and magic could help them escape. Initially, Eris is furious and uncooperative, but as the scenario plays out, she begins to follow his lead. Rudius uses the moment to emphasize the importance of learning, subtly trying to inspire her curiosity. The plan goes awry when real kidnappers intervene. Rudius does his best to protect Eris using his magic, but the situation becomes dangerous. Just as things spiral out of control, Ghislaine arrives and quickly defeats the kidnappers. Eris is shaken but impressed by Rudius's efforts and Ghislaine's strength. She begins to warm up to Rudius, though her pride keeps her from fully admitting it. Although still headstrong, she shows a glimpse of respect for her new tutor. This marks the beginning of their complicated yet evolving relationship as Rudius begins his role in the Boreas household. Thanks for watching. See you in next episode.